Is 2026 the year competitive Smash completely dies? How's it going, everybody? I just wanted to make a video talking about the competitive scene, as I feel like I can offer a unique perspective on everything that's happened in the past several years. I've been involved in the competitive scene for about 10 years now, and I played Smash casually even longer than that, which is why I make some casual videos sometimes too. And I've seen the game go through a lot of ups and downs. The main thing that's really stirred up this discussion now is a recent post from Battle of BC announcing their 8th tournament in their series without confirming either Smash Ultimate or Smash Melee. We're going to discuss what is happening and what the future holds, but first of all, a quick word from our sponsor. Are you tired of the same old boring Joy-Cons Nintendo releases? Or worse yet, have your old Joy-Cons fallen prey to Joy-Con drift? Well, worry not, because the team at YCJ has a large selection of custom-made, beautiful-looking controllers and systems. Every order from your custom Joy-Cons is built to order. Michael assembles everything, and Stephanie tests each one before it ships. You don't have to worry about any low-quality knockoff products because they only use genuine original hardware to build them, whether it's for Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation console. And not only that, you guys can either buy a brand new pre-made set or even build your own custom Joy-Cons from the designs and colors they have available. I personally got these sick looking atomic purple Joy-Cons that have that retro look that Nintendo used to do with old consoles, so I think it's super awesome that YCJ is bringing the style back. They even refurbish and repair controllers, restoring them to a like-new condition. Every new controller that you buy from them include a lifetime warranty, and the consoles come with a 12-month warranty, so if there's any issue, they got you. Your Custom Joy-Cons is also active on social media and just started a blog with gaming news, builds, drops, and behind-the-scenes content in case you want an even more in-depth look into how they're made and everything they do. And the best part, if you use code YEET, you get 25% off any controller. Now that is a good deal. Make sure to use the link in the description to check them out. They got a lot of stuff to choose from. Thank you to Your Custom Joy-Cons for sponsoring this video. These Joy-Cons are actually really cool. Back to the video. Alright, so as I mentioned, Battle of BC is a pretty big Smash Bros. Major that's been going on for, as the number suggests, 8 years now. And I actually went to, I think it was either the first one or the second one when it was still Smash 4 days. And also not too long ago for Battle of BC 6, I think it was. Either way, this tournament, like many others, was specifically for Smash. That was the main event. There were other FGC games there, but Smash Bros. Was always what everyone went for. So understandably, people are a bit shocked at the trailer. The TOs did respond saying that, more announcements will come, but this is the first time such a large tournament that was mainly about Smash just didn't have Smash announced for its initial trailer. But how did we even get here? I'll just kind of go through the history that I personally know and tell you guys about what I think. So way back, of course, the first legitimate tournament started with Melee in 2002. However, I didn't join the competitive scene until about 2015, and things were still pretty low-key then. Smash 4 really started to pick up a lot of momentum with Cloud being announced, and it was getting really popular, and the scene seemed to be growing fast. Going into 2017, I think people who were around fondly remember this time because we had the 2GG sagas. Everyone seemed to get along pretty well, and it was just overall a fun atmosphere. It was a good time. This was about when I started Yeet Smash, so from this point on, I was very much seeing the popularity of the game through viewership, and not just on compilation videos or tournament highlights, but major tournament streams, locals, and so on. Of course, with Bayonetta, that kind of killed the game for a lot of people, but then the craziest announcement of all happened: Smash Ultimate. At this point, everything blew up. Smaller locals were getting up to 100 entrants in some places when the game came out, viewership was going nuts, and in my opinion, the peak of Smash was EVO 2019, which at the time, Smash Ultimate broke the record for most entrants at an EVO event. And I mean, probably for any FGC tournament, but I'll need to confirm that. MKLeo popped off and it was truly insane. Everyone in the scene was, or at least seemed really happy, and it was a really good time. 2020, I believe, was the beginning of the end. Ah yes, the COVID pandemic. No man, I swear, we hit some sort of rift in space-time and jumped to the shitty universe where everything just went to shit, man. Because what the hell? In-person tournaments had to shut down for a while, and online Smash sucked because, well, Nintendo netcode, you know the deal. Furthermore, there was supposed to be EVO 2020, but once it was announced to just be EVO Online, they cut Smash Ultimate. There was never really a reason given, but it was probably at the time just, because of the netcode. In the same year came the mass cancellations. A lot of top players outed for, messed up things. It was just really sad and disappointing. 2021 EVO was again online, but it was also that year that it was acquired by Sony, so yeah, welp, GG's. Nintendo ain't messing with Sony. Well, despite all that, Smash Ultimate was resilient and tournament participation and viewership numbers remained pretty strong. Then came the whole Smash World Tour and Panda Cup fiasco. I never really truly understood what ended up happening and what the whole circumstances were, but either way, it was just really sad and unfortunate, as that would have truly been, the best way forward for the competitive scene. That then led to 2023, where Nintendo announced they would require licenses for larger events, which people were having trouble getting on time and stuff, which was really frustrating. But I understand why they did that, and I think it can potentially be a good thing in the long run if people are able to eventually work together better and we get some more solid leadership. But at the time, it was pretty doom and gloom from most of the community. This was when I noticed viewership for events and highlight videos and stuff started dropping off a lot harder, around mid-2023. Over the last 2 years, events have, still been running, albeit with not quite as many participants, but the larger big stage scene is definitely much smaller than it used to be. I am happy to see that, small locals and grassroots organizations are still running, and a good bit of them too, as those are the people I was mainly making videos for anyways. So, shout outs to the TOs in all the smaller and lesser known places. I still really enjoy a lot of your guys' clips, whether it's, some lesser known scene in a small state or even international ones, like some of you guys in Mexico, France, Chile, Belgium, etc. man, whatever, all you guys, I love to see it. I'm glad to see those tournaments still going. But anyways, this takes us back to present day and the whole strange Battle of BC thing. The most likely answer is that Nintendo still hasn't gotten around to approving the license for them for that event, and so they will soon, and they'll just make a new trailer and update it. Question is, why is it taking more time this year? Everything seemed fine for last year, and maybe they're just a bit more rigorous about doing background checks on organizations that apply. I mean, I think it's possible, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing. I feel like Nintendo sees a lot more on social media than people think. They obviously don't respond to people and their comments, but I just have a feeling that they actually do pay attention a decent bit, and I think, it's decently evident for feedback on games, at least, like how recently they updated intermission tracks in Mario Kart World after a lot of people were complaining, and I'd be inclined to believe this extends to other things that involve Nintendo, like the competitive scene. But either way, it's honestly really sad seeing everything that's happened and how much the scene has declined. Because, the potential was just enormous. People don't give Smash enough credit when it comes to its reach just as a game, and how many people watch and participate, or more so watched and participated in the competitive scene, particularly, like 2019 and stuff. I think if only one or two of these major shitty things happened to the scene, and for example, we still had at least the Smash World Tour, or if we still had EVO, the scene would still be thriving. But it's just a really unfortunate combination of everything going wrong. This leads us, of course, to the future. What do I think Smash from a competitive standpoint holds in the future? Well, I'm a pretty positive and optimistic person, and I think things will eventually get better. It looks really bleak now, but with the possibility of a new game, we could get new leadership, as the incentives will be much higher, as a new game will pull a lot more viewers and stuff like that. Even if we don't have anything new for a long time, Smash Bros is a generational game, and people will continue to play, at least in locals, which I encourage everyone to do. There is, however, a possibility of a new Smash, being even more catered to casual play, as we saw Sakurai experiment with, speeding it up for Ultimate. And due to everything that's happened, Nintendo probably might not want to be a part of that. Although even if it is just a slower game like Smash 4, I think it'll still be fine, as I personally actually really enjoyed Smash 4 as a competitive game. People will always find, cool tech and stuff, and it's just something that's always going to be around to at least some extent. I will mention though, the Japanese competitive scene has grown enormously in the past 5 years, which is really interesting. Prior to 2020, I really didn't see much Japanese tournaments or large viewerships for them, but around like 2022 or 2023, I started to notice so many Japanese tournament streams pop up on YouTube, and they would pull huge numbers. Like Kagaribi is the biggest one, and it is nuts, man. Like, I remember seeing, like, I think it was Kagaribi 13 or something. This was like maybe last year. I don't remember exactly, but like the stream VOD would have like over 1 million views, dude. Like, that is nuts. But yeah, this is just, you know, I think it's a case for potential growth in the competitive scene, even with Nintendo, since, you know, if there's more cooperation in Japan domestically between the competitive scene and Nintendo, that might make things better overall for the whole community. But again, you know, that's just some pretty big speculation. We don't really know what's going on with all that. But yeah, man, I mean, in conclusion, like, we just gotta wait and see how things go. It's just, you know, this has been kind of a sad video to make because it's just really unfortunate, all the stuff that's happened, you know, because, you know, like I said, I've been in the scene for a while. You know, I've had a lot of good memories. You know, I've met some good people, and yeah, it's just really sad to see things go this way, and especially, you know, what we could have had. But I mean, you know, it is what it is. We just gotta kind of adapt and keep moving forward. And again, you know, I'm a positive person. I think, you know, things can get better. And yeah, we'll see. But for now, you know, I'm just gonna keep making the videos. You know, I still have a lot of support from you guys. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the support for the compilation still. And you know, I've been having fun branching out with Mario Kart and Kirby Air Riders and stuff. So you'll be seeing more of that, more other stuff like that. Not necessarily Kirby Air Riders, but there's other stuff in the next year. But you know, I'm always gonna do Smash. You know, as long as people are watching, I'll keep doing it because I still enjoy it. And yeah, we'll see what the new year brings. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, more discussion video. I'm probably gonna do more stuff like this, especially more even like unscripted, just sort of talking about what I think. If you want to see more of that, you know, I would. You know, you don't have to, but you know, there's a membership option. You know, it's like subscribing on Twitch, or it's like $5 a month. If I get more people, then I might do more stuff like this. I made a recent members only video about Kirby Air Riders, so if you guys like that sort of stuff, consider dropping that for me. Even if you want to try it just for 1 month, you know, I would, if I get enough people to join as a member, then I'd be open to start doing like member only arenas and stuff for streams. I'd probably start streaming more. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
La verdad.